Can you tell us a little bit about your Home for the Holidays show and what people attending kind of have to look forward to?
Yes, I think, well, the holidays mean everything to me. And I had been doing a lot of concerts with different symphonies for holiday shows. And I thought it would be nice to just put my band together and put together a lot of these songs that I've been doing and just sing them at some different places. And, I had booked solid my December. And then right when that happened, I booked Sunset Boulevard on Broadway to guest stars Norma Desmond. And I just said, you know what? I've already planned this holiday show. And is there any way that we can just keep a few of the performances? And one of those performances that we kept was the Appel Center. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be there. But you'll kind of get a little bit of everything. My family is definitely multicultural, so you'll get some Spanish songs for the holidays. You'll get beautiful Christmas songs. You'll also get some Hanukkah songs because I'm also Jewish. So I like to put a little bit of everything that I'm about in there. And then we just talk about the holidays. We sing together. I'm having a choir come in, a local choir. So you can just expect to feel that holiday magic.
And can you talk to us a little bit about your experience on Broadway and how you kind of prepare yourself mentally before stepping up on stage?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've been doing this for almost 25 years,
Wow.
which is insane. I moved here. I know. I moved here from California because I really, wanted to have a career in theater and on the stage. And in California, it's much more TV and film based. But everybody dreams of Broadway, and that was my dream. I listened to Ethel Merman and Gwen Verdon and all these big names as I was growing up with my grandma. And so I think the thing that I do to get ready, especially for Norma Desmond, I mean, it really is a transformation, hair and makeup wise. It takes the hair and makeup artist, she does both. It takes her about an hour and a half to get me ready for Norma. She puts extensions in, long extensions, because I felt like, and the designer felt like Norma needed to have that kind of experience. And it's been the same kind of thing with a show like Wicked, where I played Elphaba. And you have to arrive an hour and a half or more to the theater so you can get green. And, it's a whole process and your wig on. So once you have that transformation, it kind of allows you to sink in and go, okay, I'm getting ready. Now's the time. And in this show, there's a curtain on the stage, but it's see-through. So it's kind of like this beaded kind of curtain, so you can see the audience. And so when that happens, it just makes me like so excited. I think there's always a little bit of nerves because when you care about something so much, you always get a little bit nervous. But there's just something that happens to me. It's like I get into a zone, kind of like an athlete that's going to go play a game. It's like, all right, now I'm ready. I've done all my preparation. Here we go.
And you've performed in many different Broadway shows. How did you get involved with this show in particular?
In this show in particular, my agents had called and said that they were looking for someone to guest star once a week as Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard. And I had heard a lot about the production. I've heard so much about the director, Jamie Lloyd. And I just thought, this sounds really interesting. And I never thought that I would play Norma Desmond, but hey, I am at that place in my life. And they said, we want to make it a more contemporary version of the show. And I grew up absolutely loving the show. I saw the show when I was in middle school in Los Angeles. We got to see some really great stuff in middle school. I went to see Phantom of the Opera for the first time with my middle school. I went and to go see Sunset Boulevard with Glenn Close. And so that really, opened up my world as far as Andrew Lloyd Webber goes. And he became one of my absolute favorite composers. And I sang so much of his music, but never professionally. So this is my first time to have been able to do that. And so when you have these kind of titans that are leading the ship, I feel like how can you not say yes? And I was very fortunate to be able to rehearse for the first month with the entire company, and you know, the entire company that also came over from London. I got to rehearse with, so it was very exciting.
And Mandy, how did you find passion in film and theater?
It started for me really young. Both of my parents worked full time, as all parents do, whether it's in the home or outside of the home. And I was babysit a lot by my grandmother, and my grandmother loved musical theater. She loved big torch singers, especially Edie Gourmet, Judy Garland, and Ethel Merman. And so she would play that music for me. And I was the only grandchild to really sing back. My brother was just kind of like, whatever, they were into different things. And so I would sing with her, and she said to my parents, Mandy has talent. And that was the first person that saw that in me. And then she said, well, we have to get her into lessons, because she's really loud and she's going to hurt herself. And so little did she know that loud voice would one day would be my strength and allow me to sing on Broadway. Mostly when I do it, it's 8 shows a week. But it was really my grandmother who sparked that interest. And her love of music and singing with her really led to my passion in this business.
And you've done a wide range of shows. So what do you believe is the most challenging part of playing different characters?
I think the most challenging part, whether you are playing a character in an original piece or whether you are coming in as a replacement or a guest star or anything like that, I think the work is the same, regardless. And I think the most challenging thing as an artist is to really make it your own. And whatever that means for you. Some people love to do research. I'm a big reader and an avid reader. I love to write as well. And so research is like a big part of my process before I get started into the book of the work. But some people don't do that. Some people go about it a different way. And I think that once you do all that research and once you kind of have an idea of what it is, then when you get into the room, you have to let it all go and just be in the moment, and just trust that all of that work is going to come out in some way.
And Mandy, can you tell us about some of the shows you've done in the past? I mean, what were a few of your favorites?
Oh gosh, I think they're all my favorite. I think whichever show I'm in is my favorite. So I started on Broadway. My first show was in 2001. It was the show Aida, where I played Princess Amneris, and I played opposite of Toni Braxton. It was my first time working in the theater. I mean, not working in the theater, but working on a Broadway show in that capacity. And that was an absolute ball, working for Disney Theatrical, playing that part where I get to do a fashion show on stage. And, Princess Amneris is just fabulous. So that was just so much fun. And then from there, I went on to a show called Dance of the Vampires, where I starred opposite of Michael Crawford, who was the original Phantom of the Opera. I got to know him, and I'm going to talk about all of this in my show. And then, I met the creative team that would become like a huge part of my life during In the Heights, when I played Nina Rosario, and I met Lin-Manuel Miranda and Tommy Kail. I had already known Alex Lacamoire from, I did the first reading of Wicked, the first act, I think, of Wicked, the musical. So I was in the ensemble for that, and that's where I met Alex Lacamoire, because he was, I think he was musical directing with Stephen Aremus. So I had already known him, but doing that show In the Heights completely changed my life. And so many people from that company, pretty much all of them, are still a huge part of my family. They were there for my first night in Sunset Boulevard, and they have been there through so many different ups and downs of my life, which I love. And then Wicked was an incredible experience, playing Elphaba, then coming back and playing Angelica in Hamilton on Broadway. It was just fabulous. And then to be doing Sunset Boulevard, it's, I've really led quite an extraordinary career on Broadway, and I absolutely love it. I think it's just my favorite place.
And you said that, I mean, you've been in the business for quite a long time, 25 years. So what's some advice you can give to aspiring Broadway actors?
You know, when I first started, my mom handed me this poem by Pablo Neruda, and translated it is "Traveler, there is no trail. The path is made by walking." And I think as we start doing anything that we are passionate about, we think, oh, it has to look like this person's, or it has to be like this, or else I won't make it there. If I don't go to this school, then I'm not going to get to where I need to go. But the truth is if you say yes and you start on the path will start to open to you, and it'll take you places like you could never imagine. So my advice would be, if you have a passion for something, go for it and say yes. It may not be that job that pays the most or is going to put you in the spotlight the most, but it's a start. And it's one foot in front of the other. And another thing that I want to say is that a life in the arts is possible. It's possible to make a living in the arts. It may not always look the same way that it looks for somebody else, but there are jobs in stage management, company management, on the radio and TV. There are so many jobs to be had in the arts. You don't have to feel like, well, if I don't do this, then I can't be a part of it. There's so many places that you can be a part of.
And I know you got a busy, I guess, next month ahead of you. What are your plans after the show?
My plans after the show are just to spend so much time with my family and my husband and my daughter, who's 13 years old, and she's having her bat mitzvah next year. So my plan is to just like hunker down and get all of those things done.
Another thing, what's the most surprising thing you've learned about being in Broadway?
The most surprising thing I've learned is how the community is so strong. And I think that I always wanted to be a part of a community that gives so much to others, and I had no idea that the Broadway community was going to be like that, and how much it has enriched my life, the people that have been a part of it.
And if people are interested in attending Home for the Holidays, how can they get their tickets?
So you can go to the appelcenter.org, I believe. Let me just make sure. Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
No, let me just make sure, because I don't want to give you the wrong information. But yeah, you can go to the Appel Center to buy tickets. It's December 7th at 7:30, so it's not too late and it's not too early. So it's a great, way to kind of go to dinner and a show.
And then one last thing, I saw on your website you're on a mission to create positive change. Tell us about Fearless Squad and their mission.
Absolutely. So I started Fearless Squad in 2017. At the time I was in Hamilton, and I had a lot of young people writing to me about feelings that they didn't belong, and they felt that they needed a space. And so I put it out there on my social media. Hey, if you need a place to belong, you can be part of my #Fearless Squad. Who wants to be part of it? And I had no idea that like hundreds of thousands of people would want to be part of it. I even connected with Malala. It was just, it was such a beautiful thing. And now I've been able to see people that were first part of it, graduate from college and, go on to start their lives. And it has just been a beautiful thing. I think when you're trying to create social change and positivity, you can, if you go about it and you're open to what other people's experiences are.
And Mandy, is there anything additional that you'd like to add that you feel would be essential in telling the story? Anything that you think I might have missed?
I don't think so. I'm an author, so I'm a published author with Simon & Schuster, and I wrote a Fearless series. So this was inspired definitely by my squad, but also it was inspired because I love to read. I love to write. And I, as a child, was constantly looking for books where the characters looked like me or wanted to do Broadway. And I didn't see a lot of those books. And so I decided to write stories that reflected myself and my friends. And The first book is you meet the character Monica Garcia. She travels from California with her abuelita, and she stars as the understudy to the understudy in a new show on Broadway. And I didn't realize that that was actually a job until I got that job.
Oh, wow.
So I've been so lucky. And this all, my books all came out kind of during the pandemic, which was also great because it kept my mind moving. And but I'm proud to say that I now have 4 books out there in the Fearless series, and all of the characters in these books mean so much to me and reflect so many of my friends on Broadway.
Well, that is very exciting, and congratulations for getting those
you.
books published. Those are
Thanks,
all the
Kennedy.
questions that I had for you today, unless there was anything else that you wanted to add that you feel like I might have missed.
No, I think that's good.
All right. My mom's going to be very jealous also because she's a huge Hamilton fan. So when I tell her, she's going to freak out. She's seen the show like 4 times, I think. So.
Oh, well, have her come to the show. I'm definitely going to be singing something from Hamilton, so have her come to Pell Center.
Awesome. She'd love that.
Awesome. She'll sing along. It'll be good.
For sure. All right.
Great. Well, so nice to talk to you, Kennedy.
It was nice talking to you too. I'll see you later. Have a
Okay.
good day.
All right, you too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.